I've tried to sit here and try to think, well, maybe Mr. Ferguson's not as bad as Mom. I think you're just as bad, if not worse.
Okay, you guys all know what just happened. Paul Ferguson sentencing day. You guys remember that story that we did a couple weeks back, right? With Shanda Vander Ark, the literally evil, insane mother who tortured her middle son to death with the help of her oldest son, Paul Ferguson. Well, we told you back then that we were going to give you an update once the Paul Ferguson trial happened. It's happened. We have his sentencing. And honestly, it took me by surprise. So let's get into it. What the heck is going on with Paul Ferguson, and what does the rest of his life look like? Let's see. I haven't seen this yet. So this is his brother being sentenced in.
If I could do it all again,
I haven't seen this yet,
and do it right, I would. I feel I will pay for my choices and yet never feel better, because he's still gone. I have had time to think during my time in Muskegon County Jail, and I've realized many things about myself that I might never have considered otherwise. My problems and flaws, to put it simply, are the place to begin correction of self. I asked the judge for nothing more than mercy and fairness, to offer me compassion so I might learn from him. I only hope to better myself in the coming days, and serve my time with what little honor I have left, and to make right my faults in search of a better tomorrow.
These guidelines don't justify Mr. Ferguson's actions. Mr. Ferguson, I think you are a product of your environment, but I don't believe you that you're sorry. I don't. I don't think you have empathy. I don't think you have any emotion whatsoever. And that's what scares the court. It really scares me. I think you're sorry that you're here. I think you're sorry you got caught. I don't think you wanted Tim to die either, like your mother, because you would get caught and you wouldn't torture him anymore. And believe me, I've tried to sit here and try to think, well, maybe Mr. Ferguson's not as bad as Mom. I think you're just as bad, if not worse. If not worse. Because you had a job. You could have, Mr. Johnson actually asked you, couldn't you have brought home a thing of food for him? You could have gone to a neighbor and said, hey, my mom's abusing him. You could have grabbed him and got him out of there. You could have done any number of things to stop this. And you chose not to. Your own brother. And this is where we're at. So, based on all that, it's a sentence of the court. You serve 30 years to 100 years, Michigan Department of Corrections. Credit for 592 days you've already served. Court's going to assess a $68 state cost, $130 crime victim rights assessment, no additional fines and costs.
Whoa, holy shit. That's so interesting. I mean, man, I like to think that I have a pretty good radar for when I'm being lied to. I don't know that I would say I feel like he has no remorse based off of the stuff that I've seen, but, you know, the judge made a very good point that he isn't sorry he did it, but he's sorry he got caught. And he is right. There were countless opportunities for him to help his brother. The fact that I think he gave him a full meal one time. But other than that, he let him starve. There's no question in my mind that he is a product of his environment and that he could have turned out very differently had he had a different mother. I mean, Shanda Vander Ark is clearly evil through and through. The fact that she was doing this to her own son and making her eldest do these things to his own brother is terrifying and horrific. But yeah, the fact that, you know, this was his own brother and he was still willingly doing it, encouraging it, he was ratting him out to his mom. he just clearly doesn't have a sense of self or a moral compass that is strong enough to engage in society with the rest of us. I mean, you need a certain type of moral compass in order to walk with the rest of us. I think that's part of society and part of, what builds civilizations is being able to separate folks that have empathy from those that don't, and make sure those that don't have empathy or do and commit bad crimes anyway are punished and kept away from the rest of us. Now, not to get into our legal system, because obviously our legal system has an absolute, mammoth amount of flaws. But in an ideal world, that's kind of what happened. But I am surprised by that. What do you guys think? Are you surprised by the sentencing? I mean, I can't say it's not deserved after what he did. Yeah, it's deserved. I'm still surprised that the years are that high. What do you guys think about it? Okay, so we just did a little bit more research, and there is a very interesting call that Paul made from one of his calls in jail. So let's take a listen to it. I think this might shift my perspective a little.
An incarcerated individual at Muskegon County Jail. This call is not private. It will be recorded and may be monitored. Hello, I'm back.
I don't know why it was breaking up on us.
Yeah, it was breaking up like bad. Every once in a while it'll break up a little bit, but that one was really bad. That was really bad.
I was saying that I had a hospital and a Mr. Adele one.
Are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, it's breaking up again.
I don't know why.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah, that sounds clear.
The wish list is for outside people to order, not from inside.
Oh, then you teach them? I can see. Okay.
Any limitations for a care package, just nothing spicy.
Okay.
Oh,
I can.
He has the audacity to request nothing spicy after literally force feeding his brother spicy food like hot sauce down his throat or hot sauce on bread. Jesus Christ. Yeah, this phone call has really shifted my perspective of Paul, honestly. And I'm kind of thinking maybe the judge knew better. He saw right through his manipulation and his bullshit.
In the prison, they allow better mail, right? Because I'll be able to write shit. So I'm wondering, I think you have the ability to get packages when you go to the prison, I think.
Yeah, no.
If that's the case, I'll mail you some comics.
If the psych evals do well, I suppose, if the results show something, who knows, I may not be here much longer, I may not even see the inside of a prison.
I hope so. I guess we gotta think then. I guess we should think the worst and then be thankful for the best.
Yeah, hope for the best,
Yeah.
expect the worst.
Yeah, that's it.
Something
Yeah,
I learned a long time ago.
Yeah, that's the way I live my life too.
So he says if the psych evals come out good and show something, then he might not even see the inside of a prison. Okay, so clearly he is trying to manipulate the system. He knows exactly what he wants, which is the psych eval to show some kind of mental disability. And in which case he looks like he was a victim himself. So the fact that he's aware of that and the fact that he's clearly trying to hope that the fact that he even called like a mental disability like a good result on a psych eval because it would mean less time for him in prison, hypothetically, it shows that he's possibly just as manipulative if not more manipulative than his mother, like the judge said. So I've had a change of heart after hearing that phone call. It sounds like Paul was trying to play the system. And that's honestly kind of scary for me because I thought I knew a little bit better than that. But interesting, very interesting. So, I mean, yeah, hell yeah. Sounds like the judge made a good call. And Paul Ferguson is going exactly where he deserves to go, which is in prison behind bars. My other question for this is, what about the dad? Why is he not being held responsible in any way for what's going on? I mean, I haven't heard him mentioned hardly at all in this. And somebody doesn't just like become evil out of nowhere. Clearly, Shanda had this in her for a long time, if not Paul as well. And the dad left the boys in her custody, never thought twice about it. I mean, that whole part of it is very confusing to me. I don't understand why he isn't being talked about more or why he isn't being held responsible. And honestly, I hope he has his day in court too. What do you guys think? Leave a comment below with your thoughts about the dad.